Hello, everyone. In this session, I'm going to discuss chapter number 8 that is on your screen, perfect competition. So let me first show you these learning objectives. So distinguish among a firm, an industry, and a market. So first we will discuss the difference among these three terms. Explain what is meant by perfect competition and the market system. So we'll discuss perfect competitive market structure. Use two approaches to explain how a firm might maximize its profits. Although the learning objective here, the number 3, says that we are going to use two approaches. So you have to use the first approach and read, from the textbook. I am going to discuss only the second approach, how a firm might maximize its profit. Basically, the two approaches are: first approach is to just calculate profit by subtracting total cost from total revenue. This is what we call total revenue, total cost approach. So you have to read your own from your textbook. I'm going to, or from the PowerPoint slide provided by the publisher that I've already uploaded to your course website. The second approach is where each firm will actually maximize its profit by equating marginal revenue and marginal cost. So this is called marginal revenue, marginal cost approach. So we are going to concentrate only the second approach. Explain how to calculate a firm's profit and loss and what is meant by shutdown price. So we'll discuss these three concepts. Explain how both the firms and the industry supply curves are derived. Explain the cause and effect of the entry and exit of firms in an industry. So this is basically a long run analysis. So we'll discuss this in this chapter as well. Explain what the long run supply is and how it is derived. So the diagrams related to the last objective in your textbook is pretty concise. So I'm going to show you these diagrams from my lecture notes as well. I don't know how long will it take, but if it takes too long, then I will have to make this session into two equal, or not equal, two parts. So let's start. First, these definitions. Number 1, industry. What is an industry? A group of producers or firms, same thing, all producing a similar product, not necessarily identical, but it may be identical as well. The example that I've given you here, automobile industry. So this is an industry. There are different firms, Toyota, Ford, and other firms who are operating in this industry. Automobile is a similar product, but not 100% identical. So Toyota RAV4 is different than Ford Focus, right? The second example is steel industry. So steel is an identical product, but then suppose if there are 5 firms, producers who are producing steel, that is called steel industry. What is market? The interaction of both producers and consumers. So market is a place. It may be a physical place or a virtual place as well. So you can buy and sell online as well. That is also market. And there are different types of markets. Product markets, where you buy and sell products, goods and services. So for example, if I go to Best Buy and buy a laptop, that is a market, that is product market, and the product is a laptop. Similarly, you have labor market, where you buy and sell workers. You have capital market, you have the stock market, bonds market, and there are other markets as well. But in this chapter, that is chapter number 8, we will only concentrate on products market only. So we are going to discuss the markets for different products. Now, 2 ways in which markets differ. So this is a classification. I really like this slide because it summarizes everything. So basically, you have 3 situations. So I am dividing these characteristics, right, of these markets into 2 broad categories. Number one is that we define these market in terms of number of firms. So if there's only firm in the industry, that is a different market structure or different market characteristics. If you have a few firms, few producers, that is another characteristic or another form of market structure, or you have many firms. Let me quickly give you an example, and then I will show you more example as well. So for example, if Red Deer Public Transit, there's only one firm. So I see all buses from Red Deer Transit. There's only one firm in the whole industry. That is one characteristic, right? That is one form of the market. The second is few firms. For example, internet companies, or that is suppose Rogers and Bell and Shaw, whatever, right? So there are few firms in the industry, and then you have many firms, large number of firms. For example, restaurants. For example, barber shops. So there are large number of small farms who are selling either food or providing haircut services and other services as well. So this is one characteristic or one factor. The second factor is the nature of the product. So you have only two possibilities: either all firms or only one firm. In only one firm, there's no question of similar product or identical product or differentiated product. There's only one product. That's all. There's only one firm producing only one product. So, but with few farms and many farms, maybe all these farms are producing similar product. This is what we call differentiated products, or these firms are producing identical products. Both are possibilities. Now, if I combine these two characteristics, then we have different market structure. So let's discuss one by one. So let me first erase this. Oops, sorry. Just give me a second. So now erase this everything. Okay. Now see, if suppose if the product is identical, that is, there's no difference. So there are a large number of firms are in that industry. Let me give you an example. Suppose, let's say, Roma tomatoes. So Roma tomatoes are Roma tomatoes. It doesn't matter whether you buy from one farmer to another farmer to another farmer. You even don't care. When you go to Walmart or Canadian Superstore or other stores and you buy Roma, you don't care who has actually produced these tomatoes, right? They're same. Roma tomatoes same. Doesn't matter whether farmer A has produced these tomatoes or farmer B or farmer C, whatever, right? And we have large number of farmers as well. We don't have only one very large farmer who's producing all Roma tomatoes in whole Canada. That is not possible. So we have small farmers producing identical product. So we have large number of farms, which this textbook says many farms. So large number of farms and identical product. If this is the case, this market for this product, in our example, Roma tomatoes, is called perfect competition. So perfectly competitive market structure. In this market structure, we have large number of farms or large number of producers, small producers, large number of small farms that they can't capture the whole market. Their size is pretty small. And all these firms together are producing identical product. That in our example, let's say tomatoes. So that is one market structure. Suppose if you have the same characteristic of large number of farms, but instead of producing identical product, these firms are producing differentiated products. Okay, so let me clear this and then show. So now the second possibility would be that we have large number of farms or many farms, but all these farms are producing slightly differentiated products. For example, Jewelry shops. Now, in jewelry shops, you don't expect to see same jewelry in each shop. You have different designs, you have different qualities, different prices, slightly different prices as well. So yes, we have large number of jewelry shops, and each jewelry shop is producing or selling slightly differentiated product. If this is the case, then this market is called monopolistically competitive market, or in short, monopolistic competition. Don't get confused with monopoly. Monopoly is a different market structure. This is monopolistic competition. So the difference between perfect competition and monopolistic competition is just one. That is, in perfect competition, products are identical. In monopolistic competition, products are differentiated or similar product, but not identical. Okay. So these are the two market structure. Now, the third market structure is if we have a few firms. By few firms, I don't mean, you can't just define few. What do you mean by few? A few means 8 firms, 5 firms, 4 firms, 3 firms. This is not the point. The point is, suppose if you have 500 firms, but if 4 firms out of those 500 firms uh, have a market share of more than 40%. That is, for example, let's talk about any product. Let's take product X. And suppose this product X is being produced by 15 firms. And out of these 15 firms, 4 largest firms, they're not of equal size. 4 largest firms have a 40% market share in that market. Then this is what we call a few firms. A few firms means 4 or 5 firms actually control the market because they have all these firms have higher market share. The size is larger compared to other small firms. When I say many firms, by many firms I mean we have large number of firms and each firm has a very small share. So they don't have any power, monopoly power. So we have a few firms, and there are 2 categories. If products are identical, this is called undifferentiated oligopoly market. So oligopoly market have 2 categories. One, undifferentiated oligopoly market structure, that is identical products. So a steel company is an example of undifferentiated oligopoly market structure, because steel is steel, and if there are 5 large firms who are producing the 80% of the steel in the country, then that is oligopoly market structure. But product may be differentiated. So we call this differentiated oligopoly market. In differentiated oligopoly market, for example, automobile industry is a differentiated oligopoly market. You don't expect that there are 500 small firms in automobile industry. There are few key players in this market structure, and all these firms are producing slightly differentiated product. Yes, they are in the same category of automobile, but they're different, slightly different, right? In size, in color, in features, but they serve the same purpose basically. So this is differentiated oligopoly. And finally, if you have only one firm in the industry, this is called single firm industry. Because I told you at the very first slide, that by industry I mean a group of firms. But suppose if there's only one firm in that industry, that is called a single firm industry. And that is this situation where you have only one firm in the whole industry, that is Red Deer Public Transit. So all buses that are running on the roads are from public transit, Red Deer Public Transit. So there's only one firm. And if there's only one firm, then that product, there's no question of whether the product is identical or non-identical or differentiated or undifferentiated, because there's only one product. So I'm just saying that this is basically identical. There's one product. Basically, this is irrelevant here. So if there's only one firm in the industry, that market is called monopoly market structure. So that is monopoly market structure. So basically, we have four different market structures. You don't have any other market structure other than these four. Number one, perfect competition. Number two, monopolistic competition. Number three, oligopoly market. In oligopoly market, you have two cases: whether these firms are producing differentiated products or undifferentiated products. And the fourth market structure is monopoly market structure. So basically, this is first structure, market structure, second, and this whole is third, and this is fourth. So there are four market structure from perfect competition to monopoly. Okay. Now, once we know this, so chapter number 8 and 9 will talk about this market structure, that is perfect competition. Chapter number 10 will talk about monopoly. So basically, this is how we are going to discuss. So first, we discuss two extremes. One extreme is this perfect competition, that is chapter number 8 and 9 as well. And then chapter number 10 is monopoly. So first we discuss these two extremes. Then in chapter number 11, we discuss these two market structures together. So one chapter actually, that is chapter number 11, discusses both market structure. First monopolistic and then oligopoly market. So first we start with perfect competition. But before going to start perfectly competitive market structure, let me further discuss all these four market structure at the same time. So basically we are comparing these four market structures. See this. So these are different types of markets that I just discussed: perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, undifferentiated, oligopoly, differentiated, and then monopoly market structure. What are the characteristics? So we earlier just explained these four market structure based on only two important characteristics: number of firms and type of product. Here I'm giving you more information. So number one, first, and you have to remember this, first, number of sellers. In perfect competition, we have numerous number of firms. In monopolistic competition, we have many, but don't worry about it. This is, I don't think that this is 100% correct. You could have written numerous here as well, or you could have written many here as well. So these two characteristics are identical in these two markets. So in perfect competition and monopolistic competition, we have large number of firms. We have numerous firms. Same in both markets. There's no distinction between numerous and many. In oligopoly market, we have few firms. In oligopoly market, we have few firms. In monopoly, we have only one firm. We have already discussed this. Type of product, we have also discussed earlier. For perfect competition, identical product, that is undifferentiated. Monopolistic, differentiated. You cannot have identical product in monopolistically competitive market structure. Remember this. Undifferentiated product in oligopoly market, undifferentiated oligopoly, and differentiated products in differentiated oligopoly market. And in monopoly, there's no question of differentiated or undifferentiated. So we write unique. There's one product, unique product. That's all. Now, the other two characteristics are given here. Easy of market entry. I don't know how. Ease of market entry. So firms can enter and exit these market structures depend on the nature of the market. So for example, if you are operating under perfectly competitive market structure, that is a large number of firms and each firm is producing identical product, then it is much easier for other firms who are not in that industry to enter in that industry easily. So the entry of new firms is easier. Similarly, the exit is also easier in this industry. So for example, if I'm growing tomatoes and after 6 months I realize, oh no, I'm going to now grow corn, you can do it. Okay. Monopolistic competition is also pretty easy to enter and exit this industry. So if I know that in Calgary, people are making money who are running a Chinese restaurant, I can also open a new restaurant. It's much easier because I don't need huge investment. Why? Because the size of the farm is pretty small. So it is possible. Similarly, exiting from the market or from the industry is also easy. For oligopoly market structure, entry and exit is not easy, it's difficult. So, for example, if you know that Toyota Motors are making abnormal profit, what do you think? Can you start a new production plant of your own car? It's not easy. It requires billions of dollars of investment. So, it's not easy to enter in this industry. Similarly, exiting is also very difficult because you've already invested millions of dollars. And in monopoly, it's very, very difficult to enter because if it is easy to enter, then you don't have a monopoly because the definition by definition monopoly means only one firm. So if that existing firm can restrict others to enter in that industry, will enjoy a monopoly power. If it is so easy to enter in that industry, then there's no monopoly. New firms will always enter in the market. It's not easy to compete with public transport. It's not easy to compete with public utilities. You can't just run your private business and start giving electricity to everyone. It's huge. The initial cost is huge. Then sellers price control. That is, these producers can control the price, can manipulate the price side. So in the perfectly competitive market, they cannot control. They mean these firms cannot control price. You can't control price. Why? Because suppose if I'm selling Roma tomatoes and if I say, okay, it's $2 per pound, and if the other shop or producer selling at $1.5, no one will buy from you because the product is identical. So customer will go to other producer and buy from there. So price is not in your control. You can't control price. For monopolistic competitive market structure, the seller's price control is low, but it's not unlikely none. They do have some control over price because if you go to a Turkish restaurant in Calgary and the restaurant might charge you a slight higher price, higher than its marginal cost. Why? Because they argue that our food is different from other Turkish restaurants. We serve fresh foods. Our seats are more comfortable. Our services are better than the other restaurants. Because why? Because products are slightly differentiated. You're not going to have the exact same menu in different restaurants. So because of this differentiation, producers, that is restaurant owners, they have slight power to charge higher prices. For oligopoly market structure, for undifferentiated, that is identical product, the seller price control is moderate. They don't have complete power to control the price, but they still can control the price. Why they cannot control price a lot? Because the product is undifferentiated. So for steel is steel. If other firm is selling at a lower price, you have to lower your price. That way no one will buy from you. For differentiated products, yeah, they have substantial control over prices. Why? Because they say, our RAV4 is expensive, more expensive than Ford because we have these additional features. So because of the product differentiation, they might charge higher prices and therefore they have control over price. Monopoly, substantial control because there's no competition. There's no competition. There's only one firm. So when there's no competition, this firm can charge higher prices. And that is the reason most of these monopolies are being regulated by the government. Why? Because otherwise these monopolists will charge higher prices. So if you notice that I have categorized these market structures in terms of level of competition in the market. In perfect competition, you have huge competition. That is why firms are unable to manipulate prices. And then monopolistic, less competition. Oligopoly, less competition. And monopoly, no competition. So basically, we are moving from very high competition to very low or zero competition. So we are basically doing this. So you have this is you have this scale. Here you have zero competition. Here you have maximum competition. So maximum competition means this is perfect competition. Zero competition means monopoly. Then you have two more markets in between. More closer to monopoly is oligopoly. This is closer to monopoly. And closer to perfect competition is monopolistic competition. So this is a sequence that you started with very high competition, and then competition decreases as you move in this direction to monopolistic, to oligopoly, and finally to monopoly market structures. Okay. These are some of the examples of different types of markets. Perfect competition examples are commodities such as wheat. So wheat is wheat. It doesn't matter who's producing. Price is almost the same everywhere. Monopolistic competition, convenience stores and restaurants, jewelry shop, barber shops. These are all examples of monopolistically competitive market structure. Remember, this is not monopoly. Students normally get confused with monopolistic competition and monopoly. They are different market structures. Oligopoly, undifferentiated oil refining and lumber. Oligopoly, differentiated automobiles, soft drinks. Monopoly, public utilities, cable companies. Sometimes you have a monopoly in one specific region as well. So for example, I know, suppose there are three cable companies, but one cable company is operating only in one specific area. So that company has a monopoly power in that specific area. So sometimes you define monopoly in terms of location as well. Okay. So you have to read from your textbook as well. I can't discuss each and everything. So this is just your understanding slide. I intentionally put in this recorded session so that you should know these examples. Hairdressing salons, monopolistic competition. Industrial chemicals in Canada, undifferentiated oligopoly, because these chemicals are not are undifferentiated, right? That is identical. So hydrochloric acid is identical. It doesn't matter. All HCl are still the same. Commercial breweries in Canada, differentiated oligopoly. World market for coffee, perfect competition, but for the whole world. And Rogers Cable in Ontario. I'm not talking about Rogers in Canada because there are other companies as well. Rogers Cable in only in this specific area. Yes, Rogers has a monopoly. Okay. So now in the first session of this chapter number 4, first part basically of chapter number 4, we discussed those succinctly all 4 market structures. Let me quickly recapitulate. Perfectly competitive market structure or perfect competition, large number of firms, identical products, easy entry and exit from the market and to the market, right? So from the industry, you can exit from the industry, you can enter into the industry or enter the industry. But next time I'm not going to explain this, right? Just if easy entry and exit. Monopolistically competitive market structure or monopolistic competition. Large number of firms, differentiated products, easy entry and exit. Oligopoly market. There are 2 possibilities: undifferentiated products or differentiated products. In both cases, a few firms, moderate, difficult to enter and exit from the industry. And so basically they've used this, they've used these 2 terms, right? So difficult, okay, so difficult is fine. So difficult, it's not easy, but difficult entry and exit in oligopoly market. And finally, monopoly market. In monopoly market structure or simply monopoly. And finally, monopoly market. In monopoly market structure or simply monopoly. In monopoly, there's only one firm, single firm. unique product. There's no question of whether product is differentiated or undifferentiated. Unique product and very difficult. Entry and exit is very difficult, or sometimes we say entry barriers. So there are entry barriers. So new firms cannot enter easily. We'll discuss this in detail in this entry barriers in chapter number 10, monopoly. After discussing these four market strategies, now concentrate more on perfect competition in this chapter. So these are the conditions of perfect competition, which we have already discussed earlier. Many small buyers and sellers, or large number of firms, or numerous firms, whatever you call. No preferences shown. Why? Because product is identical. Easy entry and exit by both buyers and sellers. The same market information available to all. That is, producers and sellers have complete information. So for example, if I go to Walmart and the price is $2 per pound for tomatoes, I will buy if I don't know that the price at and other Canadian stores, right? Okay, what I don't know. It slipped from my mind. So, for example, if I go and buy tomatoes from Walmart for $2, I will buy $2 if I don't know that the price of the same identical product, that is tomatoes, at Canadian superstore is $1.50. If I don't know, then I'll buy. If I know, then I'm not going to buy. I'll go to Canadian superstore and buy from there. So this is the fourth characteristic, that the same market information available to all. So producers and sellers, they have complete information about the price at different locations. So now, once again, the difficult part. These are the diagram that we are going to use to explain this competitive market structure. So you can see on your screen, there are two diagrams. On the left-hand side, the diagram says supply and demand for the market. The right-hand side demand says demand curve facing a single firm. We know, and I told you at least 3 times, that there are a large number of firms in this industry. I suppose if there are 30 firms or 40 firms, I can't draw 40 different diagrams of all 40 firms. So what I'm going to do, just to make the analysis simple, I will assume that all 40 firms are a small firm, very similar firms, right? So this is not the case that in 40 firms you have 4 very large firms and all the remaining firms are very small. If this is the case, that is oligopoly market structure. In perfect competition, all firms are of more or less the equal size and are very small. So I'm drawing one diagram for one representative firm, that is this diagram. So this diagram is a diagram for a firm, for one firm in this industry. I know there are so many other firms. And this second diagram is the diagram for all firms together. That is called industry. So the first diagram is the industry diagram. So I'm writing here, this is industry diagram. Industry, whole industry. And this is just one firm. One typical firm in this industry. Okay. Now read this. Now they are saying in pure competition. Earlier we said perfect competition. Same thing. Pure competition, perfect competition. So in pure or perfect competition, a single firm has little effect on overall supply. So the market price becomes the firm's demand and is constant. Demand is horizontal and the firm is price taker. So first, let me explain why in the second diagram, that is right hand side diagram, that is firm diagram, why I have drawn a horizontal demand curve. You can see it's a horizontal demand curve at $20. What is the meaning of this? So let me explain first, and then I'll move on to the next slide. So if you see here, I'll give you an example, and that will be more, it will be much easier for you to understand. Suppose for the time being, just suppose. So I know you could have asked me, or you might ask me that why you have assumed $20. But let's assume that the price of this product that all these firms are producing, and I know that this product is identical. Suppose the price is $20, right? And this, suppose this is firm one. So this is number one, firm number one, right? And there are so many. There are other firms as well, not large, small firms as well. So I'm just talking about only one firm, firm number one. Now, if the price is $20, whatever be the unit, right? Quantity per period, thousands of bushels, right? But I'm saying per unit. So suppose if the price is $20 per unit, $20, and if I'm selling this product, I will never ever sell this product at less than $20. Why not? Because my size, the firm size is so small. So I'm not just producing on a very large scale that I have to lower my price for tomatoes. Otherwise, all those tomatoes will be rotten. This is not the case. I'm a small farmer, and I know that if I produce 50 kilograms of tomatoes, I can easily sell at $20 per kilo. Why should I accept lower price? So if I am selling identical product, and if the size of my farm or my production level is small, then I will never sell my product at less than $20. That is for sure. Second possibility, if I am selling these tomatoes, I will never charge more than $20. Why not? Because the moment I charge $21, I won't be able to sell even a single kilo. No one will buy from me because there are other large number of farmers who are also selling the same Roma tomatoes, and they are also charging $20. So why someone or consumers will buy the same product at $21 per unit? Everyone knows that the price is $20. Are you getting my point? So that is the reason that price for each firm is fixed in this example at $20. That is, each firm, each seller in this market cannot charge higher than $20 and cannot charge lower than $20. Why? Because they don't have to. If they can sell all what they produce at $20, why they are selling less than $20 and decrease their profits? So what is this? This is basically nothing but the demand curve. What is demand curve? Demand curve at different prices, how much you are going to demand. So the demand curve, or basically the price line, is this. So each firm is facing this demand curve. This demand curve is from the consumer side, I know, but this demand curve is facing by each firm. So for example, suppose I am firm one, and I am suppose producing 5 pounds of tomatoes, suppose, and this $20 is the price per pound. So if the demand curve is horizontal like this, then as a firm, I can't control prices. That is why it is written here. Firm is price taker. Firms, each firm has to accept the price. That is $20. So these firms are price taker. They're not setting the price. They're price taker. Why? Because the demand curve is horizontal. Horizontal demand curve means that whatever you produce, you have to sell your product at $20 because no one will buy from you more than $20, and you are not going to sell less than $20. So $20 is the price. So suppose if your size is very small and you are just producing, let's say, 5 pounds of tomatoes, total 5 pounds. What are you going to do? You have no option. You can't control price. You just sell these 5 pounds at $20 each. So 20 times 5, $100. So your total revenue, that is, this is what you receive, you get $100 by selling 5 pounds. If you produce 6 pounds, then you will get $120. If you produce 4 pounds, you get $80. 80, not percent, $80. Okay. So this is the meaning of the horizontal demand curve, that firms are price takers. Okay. Now, then what is this second diagram? Second diagram is actually drawn to help you understand where does this $20 come from. Okay. What is this industry diagram? Let's see. And we will also discuss this in detail later. But here, what you need to know is this. Now, notice when I now draw demand curve, I draw demand curve as a downward sloping curve. Oh, sorry. This is downward sloping demand curve. Here, I have drawn horizontal demand curve. Why? Because this demand curve, this demand curve is faced by each firm, individual firm. But as a whole, for all firms together, demand curve is downward sloping actually. That is, when price decreases, demand is more, and they can fill this demand by producing more tomatoes altogether. So, for example, if price is lower, so consumer are demanding more tomatoes, yes, farmers can grow more altogether. But for one farm, it's not possible. It's not possible because if this is the first, this is a diagram one. Suppose if price decreases to 18, right? This price, at this price, one farm will not sell anything. Why? Because their size is so small. They know that the maximum that they can produce is 5 pounds, and they know that they can sell this 5 pounds as $20. Why they sell at $10? Because lowering the price, they're not going to increase their production. They can't. The size is small. But all together, if you combine all farmers together, yes, it is possible that if each farmer is producing slightly more, then overall there's a big or huge impact. So this is the industry demand curve, that is downward sloping line. And now you see this is the supply curve. This is the total supply of this product. I took this example, that is tomatoes, Roma tomatoes to be more specific. So supply curve is this, that is, as price increases, more farmers are producing or willing to produce more. But when I say more farmer, I'm not saying more farmer, I'm saying all farmers together, right? So this is the whole industry diagram. So in the Roma tomato industry, suppose if the total demand for all Roma tomato curve is like this, if the supply of all these farmers curve is this, then the equilibrium price is 20, that is, and this is, let's say, 500. So overall 500 pounds of tomatoes will be grown and will be sold at $20 per pound. Suppose it's not possible, but let's say $20 per pound. Okay. Now you tell me, I just asked you a question and you tell me your own and then check. I'm just giving you one example. Suppose this is the whole industry. Whole industry means all farmers together. Suppose the equilibrium quantity, I'm writing here, suppose the equilibrium quantity is 1,000 pounds. So 1,000 pounds of tomatoes are being produced by all farmers together. Suppose the equilibrium price is $20, because this is the intersection of demand and supply, which we have already discussed in chapter number 3, if I'm not wrong, or 2. Now suppose there are large number of farms. I don't know how many farms are there, how many farmers, but I do know that one farmer maximum is producing at this point right now is producing 5 pounds. So one farmer I know is producing 5 pounds, and this farmer is selling these 5 pounds at $20 per pound. Can you tell me how many farms in this industry? Excuse me. So how many farms in this industry? How do I know? From here, see, I know the total production is 1,000 pounds and one farm is producing only 5 pounds. So 1,000 divided by 5, 200. It means there are 200 farms. So 200 farmers, each farmer is producing only 5 pounds and charging $20. Where does this $20 come from? $20 actually is calculated in the whole industry. That is overall demand and whole industry supply curve will determine the price, and this price is given, and then each firm will take this price as given and then decide how many pounds of tomatoes this farm should produce and sell. Okay, but don't worry if you don't understand, we will draw this diagram again later. Now I'm interested calculating the profit of these firms. When I say profit of these firms, I'm not going to calculate profit for all these 50 firms. I will just calculate the profit of one typical firm in that industry, and I'm assuming that all firms are identical. So first thing that we discussed in chapter number 6, if you remember, total revenue. The formula for total revenue is quantity times price or price times quantity. They intentionally have written in this format, and I'll tell you why. And you know what is average revenue? Average revenue is total revenue divided by output. So if you notice here, total revenue I know is Q multiplied by P and divided by Q. Then this Q and Q cancels, so you'll get only P. Remember that average revenue is always equal to P. Always. It has nothing to do with the market structures. Whatever be the market structure, average revenue simply means price. So you can definitely go to any shop and ask, what is the average revenue of this product? It means what is the price of this product. So average revenue is always price. Remember this. And total revenue is price times quantity or quantity times price, same thing, right? So total revenue is price times quantity or quantity times pricing. So this is total revenue and average revenue. Then we talk about how to calculate marginal revenue. So this is times pricing. So this is total revenue and average revenue. Then we talk about how to calculate marginal revenue. So this is marginal revenue. What is marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is the X, which I've already discussed in chapter number 7, if I'm not wrong. So the extra, marginal means extra basically. The extra revenue derived from one additional unit. That is when you sell one additional unit, what is your additional revenue? That is called marginal revenue. So see how we derive marginal revenue. So marginal revenue is change in total revenue. How your total revenue changes when you sell or produce one additional unit. Basically sell one additional unit. I know that in perfectly competitive market structure, price is fixed. You can see here. I can take you here, take you back. In this diagram, I showed you earlier that price is fixed, $20. It is fixed. It's not changing, right? So price is not changing. So if price is not changing, then you can see here that change in total revenue, this is changing simply because of change in quantity. Okay, so change in quantity. Quantity is changing. So if you increase or if you sell one additional unit, what is the change in total revenue? So I know output is changing, that is sale, but price is fixed. Price is 20, it's supposed $20. It's not changing. So this change in Q and this change in Q I can cancel. So again, price. So marginal revenue is equal to price. This time I didn't say that marginal revenue will always be equal to price. This is not what I said. I said only in perfectly competitive market structure. In perfect competition, since price is fixed, firms are price takers. They cannot charge different prices. They have to charge only one price that is determined in the market, in the industry. So since price is fixed, because of this, marginal revenue will also be equal to price level. Okay, so I can quickly write like this: total revenue is price times Q. It has nothing to do with any market structure. Average revenue is always equal to price, has nothing to do with market structure. Marginal revenue is equal to price only in perfectly competitive market. Marginal revenue is greater than or less than price in monopolistic, in oligopoly, and in monopoly market structure, which we'll discuss when we discuss that chapter. So now, remember I told you in the learning objectives that there are two approaches to maximize profit. The first approach is to just maximize the gap between total revenue and total cost. So if the total revenue minus total cost, if this gap is maximized, it means your profit is maximized. So first approach was this, that you have to calculate total revenue and subtract total cost and maximize this whole number. If the maximum value of this will be your maximum profit. That is one approach which we are now going to discuss here. The second approach, rather than concentrating total revenue and total cost, we are going to concentrate marginal revenue and marginal cost. What is the rule? The rule is profit is maximized or minimized as well. Losses. So either if you are earning profit, then profit will be maximum. If you are incurring losses, then losses will be minimum. When? If your marginal cost and marginal revenue, they both are equal. That is the rule. Always remember. So each firm will produce so that marginal revenue equals marginal cost. If they are not equal, what would happen? See, if marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, what does this mean? It means when you sell one additional unit, how much you make, that is your marginal revenue. If you are making more than your marginal cost, what is marginal cost? When you produce one more unit of output, what is your additional cost? Remember here, this is marginal revenue. This, let me delete this, hold on. So this is marginal revenue. What is marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is when you sell one additional unit. That is, what is your extra revenue? What is your extra revenue? Not sell. Sorry, I'm sorry. I kept saying. I'm sorry. I'm confusing you. Okay, let me rephrase. Marginal revenue. This R is a revenue. What is marginal revenue? Additional revenue. So your extra revenue by selling one additional unit. So if you sell one additional unit, what is your additional revenue? That's called marginal revenue. What is the marginal cost? Same token. That is change in your total cost. Okay, so your extra cost when you produce one additional unit, that is your marginal cost. So you can see if your marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, what does it mean? It means the additional unit that you are going to sell is profitable because the additional revenue is more than the additional cost. So you're making money, produce more. And that is, it says produce more. If your marginal revenue is less than marginal cost, that is on the additional unit, you are making, let's say $10, but your cost of producing that additional unit is $11. Why you are going to sell? So you reduce your production and therefore you produce less. To maximize total profit, produce output where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Okay, so that is the rule. Always remember, and remember this rule is applicable in all market structures. Okay, I think this is too much. Let me stop here, and in the next session, that is part 2 of chapter number 8, I will start from the same slide, that is marginal approach to profit. Take care. Bye-bye.